Sergeant Preston of the Northwest Mounted Police with Yukon King, swiftest and strongest lead dog breaking the trail in the relentless pursuit of lawbreakers in the wild days of the Yukon. Back to the days of the gold rush as Sergeant Preston with his wonder dog Yukon King meets the challenge of the Yukon. This is the Yukon, the territory patrolled by Sergeant Preston. In winter, a wonderland of deceptive beauty, waiting to snare the unwary in its icy grip. The Ogilvie mountain range, 40 miles north of Dawson, wild and untamed country. Though a trackless wilderness to most, this was a familiar territory to Sergeant Preston, who regularly patrolled it with his great dog, Yukon King.
Oh, King! That looks like Pierre Bourget's outfit, King. Recognize his lead dog, Suzette. Let's go inside and say hello. Wait a minute, King. Something's wrong. Pierre Bourget! All right, Pierre, that's enough. That'll do.
As you say, Sergeant. No one come too big for Pierre Bourget, eh?
What's the meaning of this? You two men are old friends.
Suppose we let that big ox on the floor explain, if he is not too ashamed of himself.
Well, Laughlin.
Take a look at my store, Sergeant. The little cock of the walk's ruined me.
I ruined him. The shoe is on the other foot, Sergeant. It is he who's ruined Pierre Bourget.
Why, little...
All right. Calm down, both of you. Now, tell me what led up to this ruckus. Suppose you start, Pierre, and begin at the beginning.
3-4 months ago, I come to my friend. I say Pierre need new traps. You order them from United States. New steel ones.
And I did just that. By next post. Right to the factory in Vermont. Cash on the line, too.
But they did not come. Every week I stop here. I have the money. He has no traps.
That's right, Sergeant. The order was delayed. The shipment did not arrive until the last post before the freeze-up.
Why didn't you pick them up, Pierre?
Because meantime, I lose my money and this Santa Claus, he give them to the Mabries free.
Free?
Well, that's stretching the truth a bit. The thing was, neither Pierre nor Tom Mabry had the money for the traps. But Pierre could still get through the season with his old ones. Mabry had none at all, being new to the district.
It must be. I don't recall hearing the name before.
A fine couple, Sergeant. Tom and Eileen Mabry. Nice folks, down in their luck. He's an ex-prospector who knows nothing about trapping.
Where are they staying?
The old Grant cabin on the Ogilvie Trail. But these are not trappers. Why give them my traps? Still they will starve, these people.
Do the Mabrys know that the traps you sold them on credit were ordered by Pierre?
A small detail, Sergeant, which I probably failed to mention.
You fool.
I'll thank you to keep a civil tongue in your head.
Now, calm down, both of you. I may have a solution that will satisfy everyone.
Yes?
Aye?
If the Mabrys are the kind of folks you say they are, Laughlin, they should be glad to share the traps with Pierre. And in return, Pierre can teach Mabry the art of trapping. That way, all will benefit, and there'll be no hard feelings. And you, Laughlin, you'll stand a better chance of being paid this season for your merchandise. Agreed? Well, are we agreed?
Yes.
Aye.
All right. I'll stop in on the Mabrys tomorrow. Now, you two shake hands like a couple of men. Well, come on.
That's better. And now Pierre must bid you bonjour, Sergeant. It grows late.
Good night, Pierre.
Au revoir. Au revoir. Au revoir.
Good night.
I'll go with you. You'll spend the night with me, of course. We'll have something special for you and King to eat.
Good. We'd be glad to. You know, I can't figure out why Pierre couldn't pay for those traps. He had a good season last year.
He wouldn't tell you, Sergeant. Someone slugged Pierre one night outside his cabin and robbed the poor laddie of every penny of his savings.
It's incredible there was no report of the crime.
You wouldn't expect Pierre to admit he was bested in a fight. If he hadn't have begged me for credit, he wouldn't have never admitted it, even to me.
Well, did he recognize his attacker?
No, it was very dark. But he did mention one thing.
What was that?
Before the man took off into the Ogilvie Hills, Pierre had a glimpse of his shirt. It was an Eskimo sealskin. Over the left breast was the design of the eagle totem.
The cabin of Tom and Eileen Mabry in the Ogilvy foothills a few miles north of the trading post.
Tom? Is that you? Who is it? Who's there? You poor fellow. Who are you? What happened?
Milch trapping in the hills. Lost my equipment. Snowshoes, food, snowslide. Lost in the storm.
How terrible. I'll help you over to the bunk to rest and warm up while I get you some broth. You have to get out of that coat and that shirt. I hope you weren't badly injured.
No, but half frozen and hungry.
Oh, this broth will do you a world of good. Thank goodness you found our cabin.
Ours?
I'm Eileen Mabry. Tom, my husband's out running his traps.
Oh.
I brought you a nice warm shirt of Tom's.
Oh, you're very kind, Mrs.
I'm sure you do the same for us. Now I'll have a nice hot meal for you as soon as Tom gets home.
Eileen! Eileen! We're rich! We struck it at last!
Put me down, Tom. Such carryings on. Talk sense.
You must think I'm crazy, I know, but wait till you see what I have. Look, honey. It's almost pure gold. And wait till I tell you how I discovered it. I was spreading the coals by my campfire when I noticed underneath the melted snow that... Who's that in the bunk?
Oh, a poor half-frozen man who got lost. His name's Strang. Prospector turned trapper like yourself. Why?
Because he or anyone else could jump my claim before I got to Dawson to register it.
Oh, Tom, I hardly think
No,
that...
I'm not going to take any chances. Come on, put your coat on. We're going back outside. About 3 miles up Tatchik Trail, 20 miles from here. There's a surface vein and it must be worth millions. And it's all staked out in our name.
We'll never have to worry about money again.
Not if I get to Dawson right away to file the claim.
Well, when are you leaving?
As soon as we've had a bite to eat. Come on.
All right, get your hands up, both of you. Take your coat off and tie her up. Come on. And sit there, missus. Hands behind you. I'll take that. They'll do. And her feet, too, Mabry. Any fancy tricks and you won't see your wife alive again. And tie her plenty tight, or I'll clout your own head and tie her myself.
You heard about the strike. Well, if you think you're going to beat me to Dawson...
First things first. You and I are going back to the strike and restake that claim in my name.
And leave my wife tied up here alone? Not in your life. I'd rather give you my claim and the dogs, too. I'll tell you.
No, Tom, don't.
Save your breath, missus. Your man and I are going to travel together. And if he's worried about you, he'll travel that much faster. Come on, let's get going. I want to get to Dawson, file that claim before somebody else gets wind of it.
Hurry back, darling. Don't worry.
Come on.
Go, you huskies!
Being a woman, Eileen knew cotton stretches when wet. The greasiness of the stew also helped release her. But it was almost dawn when she started out for the trading post.
someone.
With no inkling of the tragedy, Preston prepared to make his run to the Mabry cabin.
King's found someone.
Great Scott, it's a woman.
It's Mrs. Mabry. Better get her inside right away.
It seemed that she scalded her hands in an accident when alone and came here looking for help. Fortunately, she was not there too long before King discovered her.
Just one more who can thank the bunny dog for her life. How would you say she is, Sergeant?
Oh, barring a relapse, she should recover from the frostbite and exposure in a few hours. I'm leaving her in your good care, Laughlin, while King and I hurry to the Mabry cabin and try to find her husband. Do you mind?
Nay. Sandy Martin should be along within the hour with the mail. He can always fetch the doctor if the poor lass should have a turn for the worse.
Good. Then we'll be off. Come on, King.
Come here, Mabry. Come on. Still taking orders from me, Mabry. Put your hands behind you. Come on, put your hands behind you.
You have everything, Strang. My dog team, my claim. What more do you want?
Freedom to enjoy him, Mabry. Now, get inside and join the missus. Come on. Get in there. Where is she? She's gone.
How would I know? If I could only be sure she's safe.
She couldn't have gotten far. The woodshed. She's hiding. Come on.
Eileen, watch out!
That'll close your mouth for a while. Where'd she go? Might as well finish him off before I start hunting for his missus. No use taking chances.
Mabry. Mr. Mabry, you there?
We don't have to break in, King, unless the back door's open.
What do you want?
Quiet, King. Where are your manners? Sorry, Mr. Mabry. King isn't usually like that. May I come in?
Oh, yeah, of course. I didn't hear you at first. I was out back.
Come on.
King knew instinctively that Strang was lying and tried to warn his master that the stranger might be an enemy. But Preston seemed to misunderstand.
Behave yourself. You're a guest of Mr. Mabry's house. Come on. I dropped by in regard to your wife, Mr. Mabry.
Oh, you're a Mountie. I just noticed.
Oh, yes, the uniform. I'm Sergeant Preston, Mr. Mabry.
Oh, how do you do? You mentioned my wife, Sergeant. I'm pretty much worried about her. Well, as a matter of fact, I was hitching up to search for her when you arrived.
Then I'm the bearer of both good and bad news.
What do you mean?
Well, my dog and I found your wife unconscious in a snowbank near the trading post this morning.
Good grief. Well, was she able to tell you anything?
What should she have said?
Oh, why, the reason she left here last night before I got home. Can't understand it. Unless...
Unless what, Mr. Mabry?
Well, since I've had to leave her alone so much, she's been acting kind of queer recently.
Well, apparently she had an accident and was seeking help. She scalded her hands. It must have been very painful. It's not serious.
Well, thank goodness you found her, Sergeant. That's really quite a relief.
Well, don't you wish to see her, Mabry?
See her? Oh, yes, of course. I've had a touch of frostbite, as you probably noticed, and, well, since she's feeling so good,
Well, I'm not so sure that she is. I've taken care of her hands, and they'll be all right very soon. But she's also suffering from frostbite. I think you'd better come back with me.
Oh, I don't want you to misunderstand, Sergeant. I love my wife. But if you think it best, I'll finish hitching up and we'll be off, so that we can come back on our own when she's well again. Just make yourself comfortable.
Right, boy. Something strange is going on. Let's look around outside. Show me what you heard, boy. King, stay here and guard him. Stop for the name of the crown! That spare tow line I carry has come in handy on several occasions.
Yes, but you've lost time. I'd like to see you catch that Strang for more reasons than one.
It's too bad I didn't see through Strang's plot before he got away. But we'll catch him. It'll only be your weight in the sled.
You mean you want me along?
I certainly do. Get in.
Good, Sergeant. We'll show him.
All right, King. On you, Huskies.
Mrs. Mabry, can you hear me? You've a bad fever, Mrs. Mabry, and Sandy Mutton hasn't shown up yet. I'm going in town for the doctor. Do you mind being left alone for a spell? That's a lass. We'll be back just as fast as dogs will carry us.
I can never repay you.
All right, King. On you, Husky.
In his anxiety to escape, Strang had pushed Mabry's team too hard. He found himself faced with the prospect of continuing without a sled when...
You are a big fool, mon ami, to ruin a fine team like that. There is nothing I can do for you. This team must rest.
No, that's your problem, mister. You and I are trading sleds and teams.
Not Pierre Bourget. He takes orders from no man.
Last time you said that, it cost you a tap on the head. This time, it'll be for keeps, hothead. I'll get going, like I said.
You are the crook who stole my money, so?
So you're lucky to be alive. Switch those teams and be quick about it.
I obey now, but one day.
Half an hour later, Preston was faced with a dilemma at the same spot. Rightly, Tom insisted his stolen team had taken the trail to Pierre's. King, on the scent of Strang rather than the team, obstinately refused to move in any direction except the trading post.
So what's the matter with that dog? My team went that way.
King's not interested in your dogs, Tom. He's trailing an outlaw. And they went this way. I'm going to follow him.
Well, Sergeant, I think he's wrong. Do you mind if I travel on foot and follow the team? I'll need the dogs to get to my wife.
No, I don't mind, Tom. I'll see you later at the trading post. All right, King, I'm going to follow you. All right, King, on you huskies.
Even with the head start and fresh team he had, Strang was no match for Preston's great dog team. As Strang neared the trading post, he heard the expectant barks of Preston's onrushing team. He knew then that his only hope of escape was to stop Preston's pursuit forever. He had to kill the Mountie.
On, King! Hey! Hey! Hey!
Be smart, Lachlan. I know you're behind those boxes. Come on out with your hands up. I mean business. I'm not gonna get caught between you and the Mountie. Come on out. All right. You asked for it.
Quiet, King, quiet. The back window, King. Get him from the back window. Go!
Inside. Take off these bracelets and leave me alone with this thief for 1 minute, Sergeant. 1 little minute, that's all I ask.
No, Pierre. I found your gold hidden on him and returned it to you. You should be satisfied. As soon as Bob Laughlin returns with the doctor, I'm taking Strang into Dawson, along with the registration of Tom's claim.
But I am asking for justice, Sergeant.
And you'll get it in the proper court of law. Oh, hello, Bob. I thought you were coming back with the doctor.
And so I did. He's fetching his bag from the sled outside this very moment.
Well, good.
Mr. Mabry and Pierre, you two laddies have buried the hatchet?
Better than that, Laughlin. From now on, we're business partners. I'm going to need help to work my new claim. That was Sergeant Preston's idea. We reached an agreement after I followed my own team over to Pierre's cabin. Gave us plenty of time to discuss things on the way over here.
Oui, it is so.
Well, in that event, time for us to move along, old boy. This case is closed.